Your accent. Wait, where you from?
I'm from the Bahamas.
Okay. What part?
I'm from Nassau.
Okay.
You been there
What's
before?
up? Not shit. But I'm thinking about going real soon.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's what's up.
Alright. What's good with the YouTube? You know it's your boy Don coming to you with another video of the Greenhouse Effect. Today I got another guest speaker with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? My name is Brianna Willis, and yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Alright. How's your day been going so far?
It's been cool.
It's been cool. That's
yeah.
good. That's good.
What about you?
Pretty good, pretty chill. It's been a good morning.
I feel you.
It's been a good morning. Made sure I prayed, meditated today before I get out.
For sure.
So, you got a book out.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that.
Okay, so my book is called Pride to Promise:
Mhm.
Overcoming the Challenges of Life to Receive the Promises That You Deserve.
Alright.
So, I mean, a little bit about my background. I was born and raised in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Okay.
And you know, like my life, it kind of just tells my testimony more so.
Mm-hmm.
And the second portion of it is kind of talking about like healing. And like overall for everybody, like what does it look like to remove yourself from like pride and actually step into the promise? Because like we live in a world that's like, you see all these people that's like so prideful, and it's like in order for you to be exalted, you have to be humble.
Nah, for real.
Or you can be humble, but you don't, you know. So
Yeah.
I think God really definitely humbled me from an early age. So yeah, for sure.
All right, y'all make sure to check the book out. I actually think I'm gonna check it out myself because it's a pretty interesting topic.
Yeah.
Pride is one of the things that like you face, and you don't even know you're facing it.
Oh me.
Like you get in private situations, not even be aware of it. So I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Oh me. Look,
Where can you get it?
Amazon, Walmart, Barnes and Nobles, all the places.
And say the name one more time.
Pride to Promise: Overcoming the
I'll
Challenges
make sure I
of
check
Life.
it out.
Yep. Just
Make
look
sure I
it up.
check it out.
Yep, for sure. Yeah.
All right.
So like what? So what about you? So like, how is it being like in a sense, like you said, pride? Like what do you think specifically for you that you might go through in that area or that facet?
Right. So it's one of those things where I realized that I used to have a lot of pride, like before I went through my whole like self-isolation journey, and after going through that journey, even though it's one of the things that I try to recognize, it's still something that I struggle with. So it wouldn't necessarily take on the form of me like being prideful in situations for the most part.
Yeah.
But just like, okay, so for me, I think it's easy to get pride and confidence confused.
For sure.
So there'll be times where I feel like, you know, a person shouldn't treat me this way, or like that I'm worth more, or that I'm worth something.
Yeah.
And some of that could be confidence, but there are also times when it could be pride. Like if I'm going through an argument with somebody and I'm saying, well, you know, I tried to talk it out, they didn't want to talk it out, I ain't reaching out to this person no more. They should be able to reach out to me. I'm trying to talk about it. I feel like that's more pride than confidence. Right? Because I'm saying that because I feel some type of way. I'm saying that from a place of like pride. I'm not being as patient as I can be. Yeah. So that's something that I struggle with a little bit.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's a work in progress all the time.
For sure, it's always and I like kind of go like on the back of the cover. It says like, I mean, there's a process to get there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there's always a process and everything. And I think like one thing that I'm kind of, like you said, is like there's a difference between confidence and like people saying that it's pride, but like what I've just really been seeing and like God's been revealing to me in this season is really like, yo, like the things that, because the kingdom is backwards and it's different from the things of this world. So like one thing that I've just been seeing in this season is like, yo, like the things that the world sees as pride is really confidence in him. Because I mean, like you have like the foundation, and it's like, yo, like I'm just I know who I am, you know. So it's not a sense of like, yo, like.
Yeah, I feel like for me and what I've seen and a lot of other people is that pride. So there's good pride, and then there's bad pride, and I feel like we don't really typically tend to prioritize the good pride. Like
What do you mean by that?
So we would be prideful within ourselves. Like
Okay.
we'd
Like
be,
boasting?
yes,
Okay.
right? But we don't take pride in ourselves. So
Mm.
there's a lot of people that would have like pride in certain situations where it'd be like they're being defensive over something, or just different situations overall. They would be prideful as in boasting, but they still wouldn't have like pride in who they are and stuff like that. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's been a struggle to be prideful in who you are. It takes a while to accept who you are. It takes a while to like understand the type of person you are and just be accepted to that, because when you grow up, I feel like I can't really speak for past tense, but at least for me and a lot of the friends I have growing up, we kind of only cared about going with the flow, going out, different friend groups, like just being more inclusive.
Yeah.
So we didn't really spend that much time working on recognizing who we are and taking pride in ourselves. So after like getting older, it became more of a struggle. So it was easier for me to be prideful in a boastful sense than to take pride in myself.
Okay.
So yeah.
So for you, like, what is your, I guess you could say, belief? Like, what do you believe in?
Like,
or who do you believe
religion
in?
wise?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm Christian. I'm Catholic.
Okay.
I'm Catholic. Yeah.
Okay, that's
I believe
what's
in
up.
God.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, so was it one of the 7 deadly sins or
It's
something
pride.
like? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So it's like when I look at it, and even like in Proverbs, what is it? I want to say 16 and 6 or something like that. Look, don't quote me on that, y'all. Look, y'all look it
I
up for
couldn't even
yourselves.
correct you. I couldn't even correct you.
but yeah, so like it talks about like the 7 things that God hates, and so like the first one on that list was pride.
Right.
Like, and I kind of go deeper in the book on that, but it's like I look at it like words are really like really powerful. So like I really see it as like, yo, like I can have confidence in who God created me to be.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to associate myself with like pride or like being prideful. And that's just, like what I see. Because it's like, yo, if my daddy hate this, I ain't with that, you know? But, and it's more so like, and I kind of think like the world we live in and like religion specifically, and I talk about this too, is like, because I came out of that lifestyle of being in the LGBT community. So people in the church see pride as this and they demonize it, and they don't even see the pride within themselves because they associate it with somebody else, external or exoteric. So it's like, I think really going back to like really seeing ourselves first is really what needs to happen in order for the kingdom of heaven to be revealed within, like Jesus said. So I mean,
like I said, like it's good pride and it's bad pride. So I don't think it's nothing wrong. I don't think it's nothing wrong with taking pride in things. Because like you said, you're proud of who you are, like through Christ. Through like you're proud of what you've been, what you're going through, and the person that you are now. Like you take that's something you take pride in, right? So I don't think there's nothing wrong with pride. I think it's when, it's like everything in moderation. I think it's when you have too much pride as to when things start to get bad, like because that creates entitlement. That creates a whole other like everything, like you say, is all about how you talk to yourself, how you talk, your thoughts. I ultimately believe that the way that we talk to ourselves and others control the way that we think, and the way that we think control the way that we are. So I agree. I agree.
And it's like, it's so many things like in the world we live in. It's like so easy to get caught up in. It's like really like, let's focus on ourselves. Like let's look at ourselves in the mirror, because I know it's hard to do that though. It's scary to just sit in a room in silence by yourself, like, and have to really face those demons that are inside sometimes. And it's like, yo, like,
but it's necessary. It's so necessary. Really I said this in another video of mine about isolation. I would say that was probably the hardest journey that I've ever went through in my life, just because it was so different to actually make myself disconnect from everything and like sit in boredom, sit in boredom and like deal with myself.
Yeah.
So that was probably one of the hardest journeys that I had to do, but it was one of the most beneficial journeys that I ever went through in my life. It's what caused me to shape the way that I think right now, to have a whole different perspective on life. I think if I didn't really go through that, if I didn't take the time to, like you say, sit down within myself and deal with those problems and deal with those demons and deal with those traumas, I wouldn't have been able to be as positive as I am now. I wouldn't have been able to grow for real.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
it definitely is easier said than done, but it's important.
Yeah. For sure.
It's
So
important.
I meant to ask you. You said that earlier about isolation,
Mhm.
and I know that's really important. As soon as like I gave my life to him, it's like he took me away from like the girls, the weed, the everything,
Yeah,
and really just like, hey, you're sitting with me like for a smooth minute.
yeah.
And so like, what was that for you? Like what did that look like for you?
For me, it was it was me getting away from everybody. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, I still talk to family, I still talk to friends every now and then, but it was me just taking a lot, most of the time, for myself and just separating myself from social media, separating myself from where I usually would go to hang with people. Instead of like going drinking, playing dominoes and stuff, I would actually like go outside in nature and just chill.
Mhm.
Like go for a walk or just sit down, listen to music and stuff like that. Like it took me actually being in silence and being to myself so that I could actually have those thoughts. Like when you sit by yourself, at least for me, when I sat by myself, silence is not silent. Silence is very loud because
Yeah.
the more you quiet your surroundings, the more you can hear your internal thoughts, right? So even though it was silent on the outside, on the inside, all the thoughts that I was thinking that I didn't never get a chance to actually go through because I was always around people and doing things,
Mhm.
they started to flood into my mind. They started to get real loud.
Right.
So I was just thinking about things, just going through things, started doing more research,
Yeah.
which I never really did. I never did research about like feeling certain type of ways or like different emotions and stuff like that. I never did that throughout my whole life. So that was the start of that.
Yeah.
So I started doing research, started answering questions, started asking myself questions, and ultimately it all led back to God. It all led back to, I would say, three main points. That one, I wasn't sure of who I was. Two, I believed in God, but I wasn't giving my life to God.
Mhm.
And three, I was living my life on autopilot. I wasn't taking full control of my life. So my entire isolation journey was just me trying to focus on what I need to do in order to answer those, like get answers to those questions, like make those things happen within my life. So that's what form it took on for me.
For sure. That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It took a long time.
How long was it for you?
It's really still ongoing. Not so much because I'm at a place now where I can talk to people and I can like reach out to people and stuff like that now, and I'm pretty consistent with a lot of the things that I do. But the bulk of it was maybe like a year and a half that I just took away from. Yeah,
We.
and it really could have been sooner.
Oh, okay.
It could have been sooner, but there were times when I like slipped. There were times when, I would fall back into a bad habit, and then I had to like, not in a sense start over, but get myself back up.
Yeah.
So there were things. So that it's definitely not a perfect journey.
Yeah. It's progression.
It's hard to. Even people say it takes however much days, 30 days or whatever, 3 weeks to start a new habit.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's completely true.
It's longer than that.
Because once you really in something, stuck in something, it's hard. It's gonna take more than just a month to get out that thing, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like if somebody used to drinking every day, they're not gonna just not drink for a month and just be completely fine.
Mhm.
That's not how it's gonna work. Cause it's more than just a habit. It's something that they're used to doing every day. It's something that's a part of their routine, their dynamic in life. So it takes some time to actually get out of that.
Because it's like you adapted to that lifestyle for so much time, and now it's like, all right, I'm getting out of this. And like some things, it's like it was easier to get out of because when you have assistance from the creator, then like he gonna help you through this. Like, yo, take this from, like, I need help. Like, and like I know for me specifically, like when I was a weed head, like I was do, and I was an alcoholic, and it's like he really just like when it came to smoking, that's how like, and it's just like he literally just no, like
Yeah.
you're good. Like most people have to go through withdrawal time and stuff. It's like no, like he just literally changed my palate,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm cool off of that. Like I be around people who smoke, I be having to leave. Like no, I don't want to smell that. This stink.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, man.
I think for me,
Mm-hmm.
it was just the people that I was around mostly. I'm a person where I don't think I myself get addicted to anything really quickly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up drinking
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't think I was ever addicted to it, nothing like that. So I would never really just buy a bottle on my own and just have it and just drink it. But I know that I was a social drinker, and the people that I was around was always drinking. So I always drank with them.
Yeah.
So just separating myself from around, and I'm thankful too that my friends are also friends that they mature too, and they work on themselves too. So a lot of the friends that I grew up with are people that I could still now talk to and still now kind of go through the same things with. So I'm not to worry about going around them and falling back in bad habits because they're also like growing in their own way too.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people that I used to hang with back then, mainly in undergrad, it's like every day it was like where's some new party, where's some new drink, where's some new that, and it wasn't really effective for me growing up mentally and emotionally. So removing myself from those people was what really ultimately helped when it comes to like drinking and getting out of that mindset.
Yeah. I feel you.
What was your biggest inspiration for making the book? Like what made you sat down and say, let me just start this right now?
Whew. So okay, so that's a loaded question. So I actually like when I was still in that lifestyle, I was like I just knew, like I had a knowing, like I'm gonna write a book, you know, like I just knew it, even though I ain't write nobody's papers in college, like, and I was an athlete, like D1 athlete, so I was always traveling, so it's like let me get somebody golf, yeah,
okay,
so yeah, I mean,
you got the golf shirt on,
yeah. So like even with that, it's like I'm not writing my papers for real. Like, let me get somebody. Like, I think the longest paper I wrote was like 5 pages.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
I've wrote.
I think I was doing like 10-page papers in like my freshman year.
Oh no! Look, and so it's just like, yeah. I think so that. And then like people kind of in my ear like, no, you'll never do this. Like even when I like, no, you too stupid. Like no, you ain't gonna do that. So it's like all of those things kind of push me down in the seasons. Like man, like I'm not able to do it. I'm not worthy to do this.
Yeah.
And so like, and I know like in that season, like of me still doing those things, it's like it wasn't the right season. But like I think the closer I got to the encounter that I had with him, that really like shifted. That's when I started to write. Like I didn't really know at the time, like Holy Spirit and all of that. Like I didn't know what that was, like giving me the words to write down. But it's like I was just writing whatever I heard, and so I'm like, okay, cool. And like I think then I had my encounter, and then I started writing more so in that season. And so like that was a span of, I say 3 years of just like really just going through life.
Yeah.
And I've been a lot of places, traveling, moving there.
Okay, so you were writing like as you lived, you were writing. Okay,
yeah, as I was going through things. So like most of the things, like I have some journal entries in there too, and it's like, and I posted on my social, but it's like it's some real like feels in there. You know, like it's some like dang, like I feel this way like right now, because like I feel like it's about the process and where you are in the journey. And so like I really wanted to capture that, like dang, this is where I am, this is how I feel. Even though I believe in God and stuff like that, it's like that's my Abba, and I'm hurting right now. Yeah. And I'm crying myself to sleep. So it's like, because I feel like we just live in a world that can be cupcake and act like nothing's going on. And it's like, no, let's talk about the real problems. Like, Yeah, let's talk about the real problems because it's like at the end of the day, like we don't see a lot of people in church talking about, okay, like, hey, we have a person who's gay right here. You know, they're coming to our church. Like, it's a uncomfortable, booty clenching topic.
Yeah.
Like, we don't talk about that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's like, no, like, let's talk about it because instead of y'all judging people based off of their like outward appearance, and how about you look at where the potential of their heart can be if they
Yeah.
actually give their life to God.
Yeah.
So I think that's really the things that's like I'm trying to just, in a sense,
I think that's always a hard topic too, because it's one of those things where like it's certain topics in society where you can't really have a full opinion on because people are always going to be sensitive to the topic,
yeah,
or people are always going to like have their own opinions, and there's a big disconnect when it comes to giving opinions and understanding opinions. Like I could say something and in my head and in my heart I know how I say it and I know I'm not saying it offensive, but you can still take it as offense.
yeah, people
Right?
take offense.
And when people get defensive, people stop listening
Oh, for sure.
to what you say. They only hear what they think.
They want to hear.
Yeah. So it is a difficult conversation to have.
Yeah.
And I feel like on top of that, even just with church people on the whole, a lot of them do judge.
Yeah.
A lot of them do judge mainly. I might have lost my point.
You got it. You got it.
A lot of them do judge. Mainly about like what we've been talking about, like drinking, smoking,
Acting like
going
they ain't
out,
do
stuff
it
like
in
that.
their
Like acting like they've never done it. Well, not so acting like they've never done it, but
forgetting more.
it's like when they talk to people, they talk at people, not to people. That's how I feel. Not every church does it, of course.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that when they talk to people, they don't talk. They're not having a conversation. They're telling you like, hey, look, you doing this, you's a sinner. You need to stop. But they ain't like sitting down and saying, hey, look, like this is a sin. You know, we all go through it. Stuff like they don't. That's why I really appreciate any pastors, any sermons where they could actually sit down and talk to people and not talk at people. I really appreciate those. But yeah, it's a difficult conversation to have. I was having a conversation with one of my friends about. It wasn't about the LGBT community, but it was not a conversation we were having, and I told her that I think that it could be like the thing that we were talking about. I told her I think that in another sense it could be a punishment from God just because of where the origin of that thing came from. And she took it as me saying that anybody that went through this or had this was being punished by God. That's not what I said.
Yeah, people hear what they want to hear.
That's not what I said. So it's easy to take an opinion and just get it mixed up and not hear what the person is saying. And a lot of people don't want to understand what the people are saying too because they're being defensive.
Yeah, and I understand in a sense both sides, like because I know like my friends like in college, and I'm so grateful that I went to Maryland instead of like on the West Coast, and like because I had like another offer to go to another school, and so like he placed me where one of my teammates and then her boyfriend, now husband, is like they were just so sweet, like they're just filled with like light. And so like they love me even through that, like even though I wouldn't, to hairline and all, hugging me, like just loving on me. Hey, do you want to go to church? No, I ain't going to church. Like, and then okay, like that's cool. Like, and it's just like people that like love is like really that drew me closer. But even when I went there and they took me there, I was getting judged by them. They was putting oil dripping all over my face and pushing me down, and it's like why is it that
that's crazy? Like
so it really was like trauma but love too. So I see how they are versus the people in the church. They're outside of the church doing this. And so it's like what's the disconnect? And so I think like really when I started to see that, it's like dang, like people are just like being the church like we're supposed to be. It's like go out into the go out. That's the Great Commission. And so I think like they showed a really great example for me, And I think like even when it came to like seeing more so like people saying, "Oh, you going to hell," and I was very bold in what I in their lifestyle. So I was like, "Send me, I'll go." Like because of how
That's
they treated me,
crazy.
because of how they treated me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool, because it's like that you don't want to hear what they have to say, like that wall that's blocking.
Yeah.
And so I understand that hard and hard because I've been there. But I also now am walking into like, I don't like opinions versus truth. There's a difference, and how you speak it with confidence is gonna be how you like. I mean, I can't like people are gonna like if I were to say something to you and it offended you. Like one thing that I put in the letter, I want people to get offended.
Yeah.
Because that offense is the only thing that will drive them to God.
Right.
Like, if I offend you, like I've discipled some people. It's like, well, that hurt my feelings, Brie. Did you take it to God?
Nope.
And so it's like, don't take it to me for because you're looking horizontal instead of looking vertical.
Right.
And so many times we can idolize that person and not look vertical to be like, God, like that really hurt my feelings. Like, and I think I read this book by Jackie Hill Perry when I first like gave my life to him. Well, right before like I had that encounter.
Yeah.
And I started reading it because my friend had like, she was like, hey, I think you should read it. I got so mad, so offended, and I just closed the book on the second page.
On the second page?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, this is some, like, I was just, but I had to take it to God. I can't DM Jackie Hill Perry a whole long paragraph telling her how mad I am at her for writing the book that God told her to write. I had to take it to God. And in that, that's when it was activated. That's when that, like, he started to align the stuff in order for me to have that encounter with him.
Yeah.
So it's like offenses lead to the truth being told in that specific person's life. So I think it's really about us being more confident and bold and saying whatever the word of God says and whatever your daddy tell you to say, which is like Abba Daddy God tell you to say.
Yeah.
And it's like, yo, like, I'm going to stand on business. Just like everybody else standing on their business.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we need to stand on the business.
Yeah.
And if that offends you, that ain't with me. Like, and it's not a thing of like pride rising up, but it's like saying it in a humble way because it's his word.
Yeah.
And it's not a thing of like being like, we've seen examples. I mean, we've seen all these examples in churches.
Yeah.
And we know what not to do. We know how to look at that and be like, oh, God, I don't want to be like that. Like, I don't want to come off in that way.
Yeah.
But humble me and give me the humility to say it in the way that you need me to.
Right.
So, like, one thing that I did when I was younger, and most people be like, that's crazy. Is I was like, God, take me through things for me to experience and know how to say certain things to certain people. I want to worship you like different. And so it's like, in order for you to actually know how to say things, you have to go through certain things.
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree. And like heavily on the part of opinions and facts are different. They're worlds apart.
Yeah.
One thing I always pray for is knowledge and understanding.
Oh yeah.
Like I want knowledge to know what I'm going through, to know what's happening in life, and I want the understanding I need to actually set apart what's an actual fact and what is my opinion. Like knowing something is cool, but if you don't understand what you know, you essentially might as well not know it.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of things. That's a big part of what creates a big disconnect when it comes to people communicating. Yeah. Because you could know what somebody say, but you have to understand what they're saying, not after. Even like with getting offended. Yeah. You're gonna get offended if you don't understand what they're saying and where they're coming from. Yeah. Because if I say something to you out of love, you could just easily take that and feel like it's out of hate. Yeah. Right? But that's your opinion. Yeah. That ain't the fact of what it is. And I feel like a lot of people use the way that they feel in that moment to project onto what the person is saying. Yeah. So if you having some type of negative feelings right now, you could easily take what somebody's saying as in a negative light.
Yeah.
right? Even though they ain't saying it that way. And when somebody is telling you that, hey, I don't mean it like that, it's easy for you to be like, no, I heard what you say. Dude, you say what you mean. I'm not dumb and all that, but like you ain't trying to understand what the person is saying.
Mm-hmm.
You're just moving off of whatever feelings you have. That's your opinion,
Yeah.
right? But you gotta look at the facts.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look at the facts. You can't. If somebody say something to you, I understand the desire and the drive to try to break that thing down and into understanding it. But you have to understand that when you break something down, you're breaking it down into your own understanding based off of what you know and your experience in life so far,
Yeah.
right? But that may not be the fact of what it is.
Yeah.
So when someone gives you clarification of what they're saying, you need to take that into the input of you breaking it down too.
Yeah.
You need to understand what they're saying, because you
Right.
can't just say, if I say, oh, that was a dumb thing to do, I'm not calling you dumb.
Yeah.
I'm not calling you dumb. I'm saying that was a dumb thing to do to bring that as awareness to you, so you know, like, okay, maybe not do that again,
Yeah.
right? But I didn't say you were dumb. But someone could easily say, oh, he tried to call me dumb. He trying to say I'm stupid, right? And that's because they ain't understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if I try to clarify on that and say, okay, I'm not saying that you're dumb. I'm just saying like this specific thing wasn't smart,
Yeah.
right? They could just easily say, no, I heard what you say. Like you saying I'm dumb. You saying this and that,
Mm-hmm.
and that's coming from a place of pride,
Yeah.
a place of like they ain't understanding. They're not trying to understand. So we have to be able to just separate it,
Yeah.
separate the knowledge from the understanding.
Yeah.
That when you said that, that really just that struck a chord in my mind for real.
Baby, I'm the realest, like that hop up on your same. So please look it, don't take me for no lame. I know it seems intense to deal a nigga from the island, but don't fall under pressure, I promise I'll keep you smiling.